Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the second episode of Birds of Pakistan. I'm Akbar, your host for this channel. Today I'm going to talk about a lovely bird that is purple sunbird, Cinnyris asiaticus. So why it is called purple sunbird? It is because of the darker color of the male bird, that too in the breeding plumage. It is not exactly purple, but it has iridescent colors. It means that when viewed from different angles, you will see sheens or shimmering colors of blue, black, green, and purple, dominantly on the mantle part of the male bird. So, in this episode, we'll talk about how to differentiate between the male sunbird and the female sunbird. We'll talk about its diet, different habits, its global distribution, and also the local distribution in different parts of Pakistan. I'll be sharing my photographs with you and some audio and video clips as well. So first, we'll see some photographs of the male purple sunbird so that you get familiar with this lovely bird. So let's move.
Purple sunbirds have a difference in the shades of metallic blue, purple, green. They can show a variation in their plumages because of the light conditions and also when viewed from different angles. So there's a male purple sunbird showing a scaly appearance on the top of the head, that is crown, and also sides of the face and on the chest as well. The underparts are looking darker. This is because of the high angle sun. So the main color that is evident on this photograph is the metallic blue with some shades of cyan and also a little purple on the mantle that is not fully visible here. There's also a prominent eye ring that is black in color, but because of the high or harsh sun, this is sort of giving us a shimmer. So moving to the next photograph. I took this photograph of the male purple sunbird in its breeding plumage in a bit of low light conditions. And in this particular image, you can see a reddish or a maroon band on the chest that appears on some of the breeding males but can be absent in some individuals. If we look at the wings, or you can say flight feathers of this bird, they are brownish to blackish in appearance. The mantle has the same glitter with the shades of blue and purple. Purple is not as dominant as blue, but as discussed earlier, the different birds, when viewed in different light conditions, can show a number of variations in color. If you see the scaly face, because the bird was alert and because of my nearby presence, so sort of erected scales on the head, giving a blackish appearance to the face and head. If we see the tail, sunbirds have shorter square cut tails with upper tail, shiny upper tail coverts. Moving to the next photograph to see again the differences in the colors on males. So I took this shot in low light conditions. The sun was on the rise, but the sky was a bit hazier. In this particular image, and the scaly appearance on this bird, on the male bird, is quite evident with dominant shades of purple, and blue is dominant only on the upper part of the chest and the chin. And there's also, quite interestingly, there's also a greenish patch over this maroon chest band. Wings are giving the same blue, brownish to blackish appearance. So moving to the next photograph. I took this photograph in quite harsh sunlights. For that, I had to adjust the camera settings, and that made this chest band, maroon chest band, quite visible. As I mentioned, that it is also a field ID for the breeding males, that they show this maroon or the reddish band. And quite interestingly, for this male with a raised head, you can also see the metallic sort of turquoise color or cyan color, also the moustachial stripes, and coming down to the upper part of the chest. And metallic blue is there with some black or the darker shades on the inner part of this bird. So moving to another photograph. This photograph was taken early in the morning, but sun was on the rise, and this bird is giving a darker appearance on the chest and lower down on the underparts. So it has a streaky sort of appearance on the black. There are streaks of metallic blue and metallic cyan. And also, if you see this part, these are known as the pectoral tufts, or commonly you can see the armpits of this bird, which appear on some of the breeding males, but not necessary that every breeding male will show these. Normally, these are made visible by the bird in the courtship displays in the breeding season. Again, because of the light angle, you can see dominant black on the face and the underparts. So, checking out another image, the same bird captured on the same day but with a different angle. So, underparts are giving a mix of black, blue, cyan, and some other colors. And also, this bird has this chest band in its developing phase, and there's also a hint of those pectoral tufts. The face, the crown is blue, metallic blue, and the chin and the other parts are blackish in appearance. This is because of the light angle. For this particular image, you can see the longer pectoral tufts, orange and yellow. This male was singing. This photograph was taken in the breeding season that starts from March and lasts till July, and sometimes till August. And this was singing to attract a female that was perched nearby. So you can see quite interestingly that these pectoral tufts are quite prominent in this photograph, although it is not a very good quality photograph. But it's just to show you the differences that a male purple sunbird can have. This particular photograph was taken by my close birding partner, Omar Arshad. I took this image from him. It is showing a male purple sunbird in non-breeding plumage. Some photographers and the birding guys can confuse this bird with the female purple sunbird, but there are some differences, especially this broad black stripe that runs from the chin of the bird down to the center of the belly, and also there are these small glittery feathers appearing on the shoulder of the bird. Overall, it has brownish or gray brown on the upper parts, just like the females, and a yellowish tinge on the underparts and also the sides of the face. But if you observe different birds in nature, you will find slowly that this yellow color is a bit richer as compared to the females, in which yellow can be giving you a duller appearance. Also, there's a small difference of this supercilium. In female, this supercilium is not as prominent in as in case of these non-breeding males. This plumage is known as the eclipse plumage, and as I said, there are ID marks which can separate it from the females. So moving to another close-up of this bird in the eclipse plumage. This image is also from my friend Omar Arshad. This is a lovely close-up of non-breeding male bird. So if you see it on the upper part, it is just like the females, but there are small differences. If you see these smaller patches of the metallic feathers that are growing up, and this broad line that is almost blackish, it is running down from the chin of the bird down to its belly. And the third ID that I told you on the previous slide, the richer yellow color that might be dull sort of in the female birds.
I hope you are familiar with the male purple sunbird, that it can have two different plumages, a breeding plumage and a non-breeding plumage. So now let's talk about the female sunbird, that is dominantly, you can say, gray-brown or brownish on the upper parts, and a uniform sort of lemon yellow on the inner parts, but it could be lighter in shades of yellow as compared to the male sunbirds in the non-breeding plumage. So let's have a look at the few of the photographs of the female sunbird, which will exactly help you in differentiating between the two birds in their breeding and non-breeding plumage. So let's see those images.
Sunbirds are smaller birds and their size varies between 9 to 10 centimeter. That makes them less than 4 inches in length. So you can see this photograph of a female sunbird. The crown and the upper parts, as I mentioned earlier, are brownish or gray brown in shade, with the yellow underpart starting from the chin down to the vent. So in this particular photograph, the female has patchy yellow, but it can be uniform yellow color, and it can be lighter than the yellow of the non-breeding male birds. Also, the eye ring is present as in case of the male birds. Moving to the other photograph. This is taken from another angle. You can see the yellow starting from the chin and down to the breast and the belly part. And in this particular image, because of the light angle, the brownish parts are are appearing to be more grayish in the tinge, with black on the wings. And also the supercilium is visible with the slight white and yellowish tinge. Another close-up with a different background provided by the different distant plants. You can see the details of this bird. This supercilium is quite visible here, and the crown is appearing brown in color. So the last image from another angle and a different background, in which you can see the female bird in its full length with a shorter square cut tails with whitish undertail coverts. You'll be familiar with the undertail coverts. If you have any confusions, you can refer to the episode 1, in which I have described the bird's anatomy in short you can say in a shorter form or easier way. So you can also see the flanks of the bird with a different tinge, but overall its upper parts are giving you a brownish appearance with slight hints of gray, and the lower parts are yellowish.
Now you're familiar with the differences between the male and female sunbirds. It is a very easy difference because of the colors. You can identify between a male sunbird that is darker, having metallic plumage of blue and purple, and the females that are brownish on the upper parts and the yellowish on the underparts. The only confusion could be the eclipse plumage of males, but I already mentioned that they have a darker central line, so you can differentiate between them. Now we'll talk about the diet of the sunbird. Sunbirds are primarily the nectar feeders. They have specialized down-curved beaks with tubular tongues, having bristles at the end that aid them in feeding on different flowers, nectar of the flowers. There are literally hundreds of flower species they feed on. As a secondary diet, they also feed on a variety of insects, including small flies, mosquitoes, and spiders as well. So they have been noted to feed their young ones on the insects to cater for the protein needs for the young birds. So let's have a look at some of the photographs of the flowers they like to feed on.
Here are some of the flowers purple sunbirds like to feed on. The first photo is of Morning Glory, a lovely flower that comes in different shades and colors as well. The second image is of milk thistle, a common bush, you can say, and it has these hairy kind of flowers, and these bushes are found not only in the plains but also in the arid and semi-arid parts of the Indo-Pak subcontinent. The third are the beautiful flowers of Indian coral tree, and groups of sunbirds from 20 to 40 have been often seen hovering and feeding on these lovely flowers. Yeah, this one is the giant milkweed, another a plant, or you can say a bush from the semi-arid to the arid regions. And these white to purple flowers attract the sunbirds in number. The second is the hibiscus plant that is common. It also comes in different colors, and sunbirds have been observed to like these flowers a lot. The third is the bombyx, or the cotton silk tree, that is also a common tree with lovely large flowers, and they have thick petals as if they are made of rubber. The fourth one is the most common tree, or you can say a tree known as the callistemon or the bottle brush. It has been seen to attract a number of purple sunbirds, including the crimson sunbirds in gardens and parks. This one is the trumpet vine, or you can say orange trumpet vine, and one of the tubular flowers that sunbirds like to feed on. These are the blooms of acacia, and they also have different shapes, sizes, and you can say the density of the flowers on the branch. But in the desert and the semi-desert areas, purple sunbirds get attracted to these lovely flowers. Although they have hairy appearance, but they do attract the sunbirds in those regions. This large, beautiful orange-colored flower is known as the desert teak, and it can be found in the eastern parts of the Sindh province in Pakistan, and I have seen literally 40 to 50 birds attracted to the same tree. So it is a lovely sight. As I mentioned, there are a number of other hundreds of flower species that the sunbirds like to feed, and this is the reason, I mean, the presence of the flowers and the bushes, that sunbirds can have short migrations to the different parts of the country, including the desert areas.
Talking about the habitat of purple sunbirds, they are found at a variety of places, including gardens, parks, foothills, and also the dense urban areas where there are flowering bushes and trees. These flowers, tubular flowers, are also found in the deserts and semi-arid areas. So these birds can be found in those areas as well. Let's have a look at two of the maps in which I'll highlight their global presence and also the local presence in different parts of Pakistan.
This map shows global distribution of purple sunbird. Purple sunbirds are found in the eastern parts of Arabian Peninsula, including the Kuwait, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, parts of Oman, western and southern parts of Iran, through the eastern parts of Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, and all along the Himalayan foothills, including Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, down to Southeast Asia till Cambodia. So they can also be present in the northern parts of Malaysia, but no confirmed records have been found. So now you are familiar with the global distribution of purple sunbird. Let's have a look at the distribution of these birds in Pakistan. So in Pakistan, this transparent green color polygon is showing its limit. So it is widely distributed. It is a local widespread resident from the lower Punjab down to the southern Sindh. So in breeding season, that is from March to July normally, these birds move to the northern parts of the country and can be seen in the valleys of Margala Hills in Islamabad and adjoining foothills up to the elevations of 1500 to 1700 meters. I've also seen this bird close to the 2000, 2100 meters, but that is not a normal thing. But this behavior is common in birds, that small parties can move up to the regions they are not known to exist. So I have only marked the extremities here. If you see the northern parts, this is Sialkot, then Jhelum, and also the Pakistani administered parts of Kashmir from Rawalakot and Muzaffarabad. And further to the west, these birds are found in Swat Valley and also in the lower Dir. In the previous maps that I have checked, Dir was not mentioned, but I have personally seen small groups of these birds in the summer season in the Dir area. So now we are familiar that these birds are widely distributed in Sindh, also in the Punjab, especially in the breeding season when they extend their range further north, and almost whole of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. And in Balochistan, they normally avoid the dry mountainous ranges. They are known to exist and found in the parts of Sibbi and further down to south along this Hingol National Park, Gwadar and Pasni. If you see this yellow polygon that is marking a part of semi-arid or the desert area, So as mentioned earlier in the slides, that these birds move after the flowers that bloom in specific seasons. So they can scattered populations can be found in the desert areas, and also in some of the parts of the Balochistan. They have also been reported from the Quetta, but there is no photographic evidence. So I have not marked Quetta in the distribution range of purple sunbirds in Pakistan. Let's talk about some interesting facts about purple sunbirds. These little birds are quite noisier, especially in the breeding season, and they utter a variety of notes, calls, and songs. The normal note is a small or short tweet, but they also utter longer electrical sort of calls. Let's listen to some of these calls and notes. So now you're familiar with the sounds it normally utters. So talking about breeding season of the purple sunbirds, it starts from the start of spring season, that is from March to July normally, but there can be slight variations or shifting of the seasons because of climatic changes and also the general distribution of the birds in an area. Female lays 1 to 3 eggs normally, can be 2 to 3. Nest is an untidy looking pouch and or a purse shaped structure that is hanging from the low branches. Sometimes it can be seen hanging from the thorny bushes or branches as a protective measure to save the young ones from the potential predators like owls, crows, and the other birds. The interesting fact about the nest is that it is not woven unlike the other birds, rather it is held together by cobwebs or the web silk that these sunbirds steal from the spiders' webs. And it is formed of thin branches, roots, leaves, and strips of the bark. So during the breeding season, males can be seen engaging in the courtship displays in which the male birds normally sing with their raised heads, half open wings, and also seen flicking their tails. They also put their pectoral tufts that are orange and yellow feathers on the display, and it has been found that during their territorial fights that are pretty common, the birds with the longer or the bigger pectoral tufts are found to be dominant over the other birds with smaller or no pectoral tufts. As mentioned in their feeding habit, they also feed on these spiders and steal their web silk to add a protective lining to their nest. These birds are attracted to the feeders as well and will prefer sweetened liquids over the flowers if there are flowers in the vicinity. So they are seen joining other birds like drongos and the flycatchers in mobbing crows, owls, tree pies, and the other predators. If talking about their status or conservation status, their population is found to be stable on the IUCN list, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature. So there are seemingly no threats to the purple sunbirds within their distribution range. And this thing is monitored quite effectively by different organizations and groups. So now I will give you some tips that how can we attract, as I mentioned that they are attracted to the feeders, that how to attract purple sunbirds to your gardens and homes, even your terraces. So let's have a look. So in this particular video clip, you can see a pair of purple sunbirds feeding on a sweetened liquid from an artificial feeder that I used or took out from my bajrigas cage. So it works. You can also use plastic bottles and also use paper cups to fill with some liquid. But before hanging these or arranging these feeders on a stand, you should be observing the movements of these sunbirds nearby. I mean, if there are no sunbirds sighted, it would be sort of a useless thing. So if you observe these sunbirds around, you can use these feeders and they will get attracted to it. Like in this particular video, I replaced these feeders with plastic cups or paper cups, and they really loved it. In fact, they didn't bother my nearby presence, and I made this clip with my cell phone camera, and I was hardly like 4 to 5 feet away from these birds. So they will get used to it, and it's always fascinating to observe these birds from a closer distance. And when I observed the male purple sunbirds, I randomly observed that it paid like 30 visits in a single day. So it's quite fascinating and really a lovely experience. So you can have this kind of setup to observe these birds closely.
Hope this was a helpful video for you. Now you can differentiate between the male and female purple sunbirds, and you got some information regarding their calls, their habits, and behaviors. So I will see you in my next video with another bird. Till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.